Hey guys, so first of all, yes, I have to confess that I have Grindr, the gay app, in my cell phone. I don't really use it that often. I just like to just wait for messages to come my way, and I never establish really a conversation with anyone. And I know that seems like I'm lying, but that's the truth. I suck doing that. I haven't dated anyone in years, so why would I just date someone from an app? I'm not really convinced by it, and I just have it just to have fun, just to I used to have Tinder also, and I like that because you can say no or yes. That's swipe the people away, so that's really fun. But yeah, I don't really use these apps, for practical reasons, because I'm not really interested in having anyone to be romantically involved with anyone, or actually sexually involved, to be honest. But yeah, whatever. So they released like this, not an interview, but like an article on being gay in Colombia, in my country. The article says, Grindr asks coming out to parents in Colombia. How common is it? You might be surprised by the answers. And I'm going to fight against this article, to be honest, because I found it very interesting that Grindr has this type of articles. I think it's great, but I think it's misleading, to be honest. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience living here and living in Latin countries and living in countries that are more open, if you will. And that's why because I found a lot of things that I don't think are accurate, and I don't know how many people they actually interview for this, but yeah, whatever. Let's go and let's read this together. So the first phrase that I want to talk about is that it says mis padres celebraron mi orientación sexual, which means that my parents celebrated my sexual orientation. That's a quote. That's great. That's really amazing if that happened for that person that said that. I think that's amazing. But I'm going to refute it further along this article, so let's keep it together, They said they set up a poll in the 32 departments, the equivalent of states of the country, as well as the capital district, and they had responses from 3,567 users. I have to say that I never got asked about this. I have Grindr, so naturally I should have gotten like questions or something. I didn't. I did once, but not about that. So that's kind of weird. But whatever. 3,500 is like cool to poll, I guess. So the first graph says that 73% of people know, their parents know that they are gay, bi, lesbian, transgender, whatever. And 27% said their parents didn't know anything. So that's really not something I should fight against, because maybe that's true. Maybe most of the parents know that their children are gay, and in this age, let's say, it's pretty normal. It's not that uncommon to have parents that know. People are exposed to gay culture now. It's not really hidden anymore, so they can see it on TV, they can see it on the news. Mind you, it's not the best exposure ever, but there it is, so whatever. So I do believe people, most of the parents know about the sexual orientation or gender and identity of their children, but I don't know if it's 73%. It seems a little bit high to me, but maybe that is true. I wouldn't be able to say that's not true. So the second graph says, did you tell them or did they found out another way? 60.5% says I told them. 39.5% say they found out another way. So here it is. I don't believe this, to be honest. I think it has to be lower than 60% for I told them. So actually this question is not I wouldn't ask it like that. I would have asked, yes, did they find out or did you tell them, but also what age were you when you told them, if you told them, or when they found out, if they found out, because I think that's really important, because in the cases that families found out is because one of two things. I mean, really, no, actually, it's one thing because we live a life, gay men and gay women actually too, where everything is about hiding our own identities and how we feel and what we like, which is really. I mean, to me, at this stage of my life, is not really a big deal. I mean, yes, I'm gay, but that's not really a huge part of who I am. And maybe, I mean, it's an important part, but it's not the main part. You know, it's so difficult to refute them. But I actually don't believe this because I think that most people in this country are still very much in the closet, in the sense that they know that they won't be received with open arms by every single person. I mean, maybe their families are going to be okay with it, but that doesn't mean their co-workers will, that their neighbors will, that their actual all of their surroundings will. I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit about that further along. I mean, along the video, but I just cannot believe that most people have told their parents. I mean, in my case, my parents found out because I did a stupid thing, and I mean, I was really stupid at that moment, and they just found out. And actually, it was my mother. My father, I actually told my father. So you know, that's why that question is not really accurate, because you're putting your mom and your dad in the same thing, and they're not the same person. Most gay men, let's face it, trust more in their mothers, or they only have one parent. Maybe, I mean, I'm not gay people, but I mean, people in general may have only one parent, or their parents are divorced. So that question is kind of, you know, it doesn't really make much sense. So this is the one I really like against. They asked what was their reaction when they found out, and well, 36.8% of people, I mean the largest portion, say they were fully supportive of me regardless of my sexual orientation or gender identity. 27.8% says it was very bad at first, but they have become much more open towards it since then. 17.9% says it was challenging but mostly positive. 10.1% say it was very bad and we've never talked about my sexual orientation or gender identity again, and 7.4% say that it was very bad and now we do not speak to each other. From what I have heard, what I have seen, people I have known, my own experience, not only, but I mean, in Colombia, of course, because this is about Colombia, that those numbers are not accurate. Many people just flee basically their cities in order to live in another city, in a bigger city normally, in order to be accepted as gay. Maybe when they get out of high school, maybe in the middle of college, maybe after college when they have to get a job. Many people do that here. Many gay men do that here, and that's why the nightlife and life in general, gay life in general, in Bogota is growing and it's big, and it's the same thing in Medellin. It's because people migrate to the cities from the smaller cities and the countryside because they flee that hate. So I cannot understand that 37% of people say everyone was supportive of me regardless of my sexual orientation. Bullshit. Bullshit, because that's simply not true. So what I get from this is that they only asked in the huge cities. I mean, cities above 1 million. I mean, there are like 5 or 6 cities above 1 million inhabitants here in Colombia. So I mean, I guess they only ask those cities or something. I mean, they said that in the 32 departments, but that doesn't make sense. I mean, there are some that are deep in the jungle, or I mean, physically deep into the jungle. I mean, I'm not really exaggerating. Or they are really remote, or they are really small. I mean, there's really small towns where people tend to be much more conservative and much more private in their lives. I mean, they're not really out there, you know. So I cannot believe that most of the country would say that everyone was supportive of them, because we have right now a woman, a senator, trying to impose a referendum, you know, a vote to vote against or for adoption by gay couples. And many people are supporting that bill. Of course, I'm not, but and I know many people that won't support that, mainly because it costs a lot and that hurts many Colombians. I mean, Colombians do not give a shit normally about anything, but when you touch their pockets, then that's a problem. And I think that's going to be the final straw on that vote. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen because it costs millions of pesos to do a vote here. I mean, in other countries, like, yeah, let's vote tomorrow or whatever, and it's super easy, but not here. So I think that's going to be the issue there, not really the LGBT issue. I mean, sorry that if it's sad to hear this, but that's the way it is. So I don't really think for a moment that 37% of people that are gay that came out to their parents were very supportive. Most people have like a relationship with the parents, normal, but it's not like, yay, I'm gay and I'm bringing all my gay friends and my gay boyfriend and everything gay in my house and everything is going to be perfect. That doesn't happen. So I think the option that says it was very bad at first, but they have become much more open towards it since then, it's accurate, I would say. And many people, it was very bad and we've never talked about it again. I believe that. And in my case, we actually don't really talk about it. And recently my brother made a comment to me like, oh, do you have someone now, or something like that, which I thought was very sweet, but it really caught me off guard because we don't really talk about that in here. And I'm not going to say that my experience reflects everyone's experience here in Colombia, but I say it's a pretty good way to show what happens. I don't believe that everyone is like, yeah, I'm super gay and this is my home and this is great. Yeah, if you live alone, who gives a shit if you don't live with your family? But we're talking about, I mean, I think it's more important to ask not 40 guys that are 40 years old. I mean, yes, they had lived a life and they live alone, and who the fuck cares what the parents think? I mean, I mean, sorry to say that, but that's the truth. Why don't you ask the people that are really living with their parents, that are in high school, that are in middle school, that are in college? Ask those people if their parents are really that cool about it. Because when I was in college, most people, their parents didn't know anything, and even when they know, they would stop speaking to their children about that, or they would stop talking to the children at all. And that was many people that I knew in that case. So I just don't believe this. I think this is actual bullshit. So the final phrase I think that I'm going to refute, because this video is getting long, says, someone said this: Colombia is a Colombia is a fairly advanced country in terms of LGBTQ visibility. I have lived in Barcelona and London, and now I reside in Medellin. I see the same gay here in Colombia. Well, fuck you. First of all, first part of the phrase is fairly advanced country in terms of LGBTQ visibility. Visibility? Yes and no. Mainly, here in Colombia we have the stereotypes of being gay. So when you see gay men in television, they are stereotypical gay queers. Let's speak, I mean, it says LGBTQ queer. That's how people think of gay men in this country. They think of the man that does your hair in the salon. They think about the guy that is a kind of a theater guy, like all fancy and stuff. Or they think of drag queens. There are many prostitutes in Colombia because prostitution is legal. But not only that, there are many not drag queens, transgender people that are in prostitution, which is really awful. And they, I mean, they get taken care of. I mean, they have a good health, and I mean, not great health, but fair enough. And if they have children, they are well treated. I mean, the women and the transgender people, everything. But it's not the best thing in the world. I mean, the visibility is what I mean, what does this person mean with visibility? If you mean that there are a couple of gay characters in telenovelas, sometimes, well, yeah, but they are stereotypical gay men. I haven't seen one that isn't a stereotype, and I haven't seen a lesbian actually in television. Like, this is a woman that likes women, deal with it. I haven't seen it. And there are some, I mean, like counted with this hand, some people that are well known that are gay, but they are really in the closet, or they are really closed about it, and they don't really speak about it at all. I mean, there are a couple of people, but they don't really use their status, let's say, to talk about LGBT issues, which is a shame. So visibility, fuck that, because that's not true. I have lived. He says that he has lived in Europe and now he lives in Medellin, and everything is so similar and apparently the same. He actually says same gay here in Colombia. Fuck you, because I have lived in Spain, I have lived in many other countries of Latin America, I have gone to the United States, I have read a lot, and that is bullshit. The gay life in Bogota has nothing to do with the gay life in Barcelona. Here, the bars and the discos and everything are in a not the greatest like area of the city. Granted, they're really good. I mean, supposedly one of the best gay discos in Latin America is here in Bogota, which is great, I think. And there are many gay bars, and there's an offer, but it's always like the dark corners and the dark alleys, and not really clean. I mean, outside the places it's not really clean, it's kind of awful, and inside is not really that great either. So I don't know how you can compare to Barcelona, where I have lived, where I went out there and the bars were just impeccable. The people were just very much so open. I mean, you can see two women and two men holding hands and with their children and everything in Barcelona, and it's totally normal. Nobody stares, nobody looks at everything. Try to hold your hand with your boyfriend in a mall here in Bogota, and I would bet that you would get kicked out of that mall. Because it has happened here in Bogota and in other parts of the country. People get kicked out of malls because they hold hands. So this person is saying. I have to believe that person is from Medellin and wants to portray that image of his city, I guess. But that's a lie. Sorry to tell you that, but that's a fucking lie. It's no comparison. I mean, I wish we had the same gay life, not only nightlife, but daily life than in Europe. I wish we had, but that's not true. Try to hold a hand again in a bus, in a mall, walking around. Try to kiss your boyfriend or girlfriend wherever you want, and I bet at least 5 people will stare, and even some people were there to tell you something, will dare to yell at you or say something awful or scream, whatever. People will do that here. So I think it's irresponsible, to be honest, to say these things in such a medium, because Grindr reaches a lot of people, and I have actually seen many tourists, gay tourists that come here to Colombia that use Grindr here to meet guys. So if this is the way that they think Colombia is, they are really taking it in the wrong direction. And this is very long. So the last thing I'm going to say is that despite what I just said, yes, gay life here in Colombia is better than in other Latin American countries, in most countries, I would say. I mean, Argentina is great, and Brazil, I think it's kind of great too, but that's it. And Mexico, of course. But besides those countries, Colombia is the next one, and it's really, and you can have a life here in technical reasons, if you will. You can actually make your partner inherit your money if you die. You can share your social security, your health. You can, you can own things together. I mean, there are many benefits, and technically you can marry. Technically, I mean, I don't really know how, or I mean, it's in a limbo, that thing. So apparently, I mean, technically we can get married to other men, but that's, I mean, it depends on the people. I mean, it's really annoying. So technically we can. So those are liberties and those are freedoms that many other people don't have, and that's amazing. That's great, and I applaud my country to do that. But that was achieved because of social pressure, of pressure from the people, of pressure of groups that have gathered and have said we have had enough and we want this, make this happen. It wasn't because of politicians, because most politicians don't give a shit, or they just are openly against it. I mean, very few are in favor of it. We have had some ministers that have been lesbians, namely. I don't think we have had a gay man as a minister, maybe, but mainly women that are gay, and in other like senators that are gay to women mainly. No men. It's kind of weird, but that's amazing. I mean, that's great. And that yes, it's a way of advancement, but we need much more. So I mean, they really need to work for their community, to be honest, because yes, we have gay senators, but they don't really do that much for the community, for the gay community, if you will. I mean, I hate the word community like that, but it's the word I should be using, I guess. So yeah, sorry for this long video, but I had to react to this article. I would leave the link below. You can watch these two videos, subscribe to my channel please for more videos like this, and thank you so much for watching if you have watched this video. Thank you so much. Bye.